Understanding Mother Stories podcast with Adeline Dubreuil. Your 10 minutes to talk about mothering and matrescence. Hello Mama, I am back this month to talk to you about a situation that I think happens to many moms, many parents out there. It is, I am pretty sure, I mean I could be wrong, maybe it's just me honestly, but I highly doubt it. It happens to many homeschoolers, but also to many families in March breaks or in the summer because their children are at home a lot more than usual, or they're a lot more at home than during the school year. And what happens, and I'm going to talk about just my personal experience for now, and you can let me know if you relate. But so as a homeschooler, my children, especially my older one, who is not part of the Montessori program, so she does have her own homeschooling curriculum. So she works per day from 30 minutes to an hour and a half, 2 hours max per day, depending on how many subjects we're touching, how long and how deep the work is, and how much there is independent work versus moments where she needs me or we're introducing a new lesson and things like that. So if you look at her being home and just being working on kind of those academic subjects for about 30 minutes to an hour and a half per day, it leaves a whole chunk of her day free to create, imaginate. So she creates stories. She loves to draw. She loves to do crafts. We go outside a lot. It gives extra time for activities and, play dates and time with other homeschooling children and things like that. So we love that kind of life. This really works for us. We are very used to it. But when you look at your child being at home a lot and not necessarily being on an organized schedule for anything specific that they have to do or specific work they have to do. And I know this is the case for many families during the summer when their children are not in schools. It's the same thing, is that you might have a craft organization crisis. Like this is happening to me. So I just wanted to share with you what was happening and the solution I'm going to try to find. And I am by no means saying that my way of doing it is the best, but I'm just going to give you a couple of things that have inspired me. So what's happening right now is that, so my oldest loves to do crafts, but she's getting a little bit more organized. Like she has a lot of beads to make bracelets. She has those little elastic loom bands to make bracelets. These are kind of contained in their own container, so that works fairly well. Sometimes you find them here and there. I ask them to pick them up. Sometimes I find them, or the cleaning girl finds them. Anyway, some of them end up in the garbage. It happens. But when it comes to actual all the crafts, we're talking crafting paper, pipe cleaners, pom-poms, and then the glue and the markers and different types of markers and the pencils and everything. So, and stickers, let's not forget stickers, all kinds of stickers as well. Don't get me wrong, we do have an art cart that I created when we actually moved in this house, which was almost 2 years ago. Because in the other house, we were not doing crafts as much, but then when we were doing it, it was getting out of hand and it was really getting to me. And if it starts affecting your mental health and your cool, then it's time to make a change. You don't stay in a situation where you don't feel good about something. It's okay to recognize, I let this go overboard. I need to find some kind of solution or system to try to make it better and for the children to find their stuff and find a system where they can put it back, as well as for you to have kind of like a cleaner space and also a way to help them put it back. So then it works for everybody. So this art cart, at the beginning of the school year, so we still, start work around. We start working usually in October, but we start organizing everything, in August and September. We organized it all. It was all put in container, all organized, beautiful. And honestly, to be fair, the system worked really well for months. I don't think I started seeing any overflowing and craziness until we hit about February or March. So it worked for over 6 months. I was pretty happy with that. But then eventually it got overboard. things were not put back the way it was supposed to. We kind of slacked. I'm not going to say it other way, in any other way. We slacked. So then the craft paper is overflowing and everywhere and is not neatly put in where it's supposed to be. The pipe cleaners were everywhere, and I was finding them in all the cubbies and all the weird spaces all over the house because the craft projects were being hidden. So then mommy would not, throw them away or anything. So that's where we were at. So a couple of months ago, I kind of went quickly through the art cart and I kind of cleaned up a bunch of things that I could so then it would look a little bit more neat. And then I reorganized a few boxes so things were a little bit clearer for them to find and to put back, and that has been working. But we ran out of some of the pom-poms and the pipe cleaners, which are my son's favorite. My son right now is 4 years old. So I just waited a bit to give me some peace where there was no pom-poms and pipe cleaners for a while in the house. But then he's been asking and asking, and I was like, okay, it's not fair for me to make it last longer. He's been doing all the things while he didn't have the pom-pom and the pipe cleaners. So I got some refills. And now with these refills, I was like so scared. I was like, okay, what's going to happen? I don't want to just let them get it all out. And then there's no system in place to put it somewhere. I wasn't sure how that was going to go. I was a little worried. So we received most of them yesterday. And of course, the first thing my son did, because he was so excited about finding his pipe cleaners, is that he started opening it and he was like, can I take a couple, Mom? I'm like, yes, of course, you can do a craft with a couple and a couple of pom-pom, it's fine. And then a couple turned into 3 and 4 and 5. And then eventually I had to tell him, okay, the deal was that you were going to use 2. Now there's a little bit more out, so let's just put it away. And we'll have to find some kind of system so it can stay organized. So any organization I have done in my house have been fully inspired by the work that the Home Edit has done. I watched the 2 seasons on Netflix years ago. I bought their book. My linen closet, my fridge, my pantry is not as neat as they would do it, but it has inspired by their work a system that works really well for me, that looks neat and clean. So I like it. And I was like, well, that works also for children stuff. For the art cart, this is also gonna be my inspiration. Using boxes that contain things, organizing it, and the thing they are known for at the Home Edit is that they do everything in rainbow colors, which is visually pleasing for children, easy for them to put back because it's just colors, they know how to match colors. But it's also easier for you and me, to kind of put things back and to know where things are supposed to go if this is an easy organizational system. So this is what's happening. We have all the pipe cleaners. We got them all out this morning with my son. We categorized them by colors. And then now we know exactly how many boxes we need to buy. So that's what we're going to go do this afternoon. We're just going to go buy the boxes, organize everything in the boxes so they're stackable, but also they have lids so then everything can be contained. I think the part that is really important in organizational system, in my experience, but also in what the Home Edit talks about, is containing with lids. So then things can actually have a place and not constantly overflowing or explode everywhere, which leads to the mess and the clutter, and that affects our mental health. So this is just what I wanted to talk to you about today, is if this summer you're having a crisis because there is craft everywhere and stuff everywhere, it's okay. Take a deep breath with me. We can do this. We just need to find a system that can work for both the children and yourself. And then when it comes to cleanup, this is not the first time I say it, if the children are not willing to do it by themselves, it's often because it's already too much and too overwhelming for them. So instead of berating them and being like, you got everything out, this is your job to put it back, which is true. But if it's too overwhelming for them, then you can't, imagine that they are not going to be able to put it away and clean up. So the best way is, let's put our favorite song on, let's all clean up together, and by the end of this song, everything needs to be put away. Of course, if the mess is bigger than one song, you can use 2 songs and give different choices to different people. And then I hope it works for you. It works really well here. And I really wish you a really good summer with cleaned up, organized system that work for you and your family. Until next time, Mama. Thank you, Mama, for listening to this episode of Understanding Mother Stories podcast. You can find us on Instagram at ohmama world or on our website www.ohmama.ca.